quicker to me.
As being at the restaurant, I always have fountain drink. So
fountain drinks are good.
And then I have lots of ice.
Well, I always put ice, but I drink through a straw with fountain drink.
Yeah, I don't do that either.
Chad,
hate
I'm assuming, Chad, that since you own and operate a fast food location that has fountain drinks, you've cleaned out the lines at some point.
It's probably been a while.
No. I'm not saying that as like to hit on the sanitation of your location.
Yeah.
But
do you know how disgusting it is?
I did a stint for a while working at this construction company where we were going around and remodeling Subway restaurants.
Yeah.
They changed over to their new look, and so part of that was like pulling the drink machine out.
Yeah.
And like just seeing like it just like it's unavoidable because it's just like it's the syrup and the water build up. But like seeing it and like smelling it like from the lines, like when you pull that thing out, I swore off fountain drinks for a long time.
Yeah, I can imagine. Our lines run from back in the kitchen out into the dining room, so they're not even like nearby. They go through the wall.
Of course, with that notorious story, the first Zesto that opened in Atlanta, Georgia, they found actual poop in the fountain drink lines.
Is that true?
Look it up.
Look at it. He's not confirming or denying. He's just saying, look it up. He said it. It's out there. It's on the internet. So now it must be true.
I'm going to choose to believe that it's true.
Wikipedia. Well, it's a good thing I don't work in Atlanta.
Anyway, I do believe the first Zesto was in Atlanta. I could be wrong.
I think that's true.
I drink fountain drinks now.
Forgot about it. It's been enough time has passed.
Yeah, I've been able to put enough distance between me and that experience, but
that's a good point. It's a good point. All right. Well, should we do video games?
I mean, if you want. I was having fun talking about, fountain drinks and poop, but
I was off by a little bit. The first known Zesto drive-in was opened in Jefferson City, Missouri.
Missouri.
Almost.
You were close.
Just a tad.
But it does have a history with Atlanta.
Yeah, the biggest one's in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I do know that.
See,
not affiliated though.
I knew there was something because I wrote something about it a long time ago.
Did
Galaxy far, far away.
Okay, we ready?
Okay, yep.
Audacity.
Go ahead. No, yeah.
That?
I'm ready to go, dude. Let's do this.
Wish that was recorded.
Oh, that's unfortunate, man.
All right, 3, 2.
Wait, I'm not ready.
Oh, for the love. You literally just said you were ready.
I thought I was. I'm ready.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Gosh. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 169 of the South Dakota Gamer Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. Joining me, as always, Josh Owens and Dave Mann.
That's right, man. Hey, the odds of successfully navigating an asteroid field are 3,720 to 1. But don't you ever tell me that. Never tell me the odds.
Welcome, Dave.
I'm also here.
Hi, Josh. You don't have some extravagant movie quote to just give us here?
Well, I had a thing I was gonna do, but I don't feel like it's gonna live up to Dave's, so I'll save it.
Okay, you'll be first next week.
That's okay. That's okay. That was a good one, Dave.
It was a good one. But don't you tell him that. All right, so welcome to this podcast. We are a video game podcast where we talk about video games, and that's what we're going to do. But first, we're going to tell you about we're going to talk about South Dakota Podcast on Patreon. I don't know what I'm talking about, but we're going to tell you about it. And we have one more month to get in on the $1 entry for the giveaway that we're doing in June. So I wanted to show the YouTube audience one last time a reminder of the things that are here. I will be adding a couple things. I think Dave and Josh are both sending things to go in this care package. So once those arrive, I'll make sure to put those on camera so everyone can see the things that they sent as well. But just so you know, a few of the things that are going in here, we have this little Bastion figure that can sit on your desk at work or wherever. That's going in the giveaway for $1 a month. You're entered in. You got one more chance for June to do that. Also, this hardcover Baron Fig notebook. You're getting that.
ASMR.
Very nice.
Very.
Oh no! Oh no!
Don't like that.
No.
Don't like that at all. I'm not good at that stuff. So that's why I don't have a YouTube page or YouTube channel for that. That's going in there. You're also getting Volume 1 of the Star Wars comic book that is canon. So if you're a Star Wars fan, want to know what happens between Episode 4 and 5, that will be in there as well. You're also getting 2 issues of the Mighty Thor comic book, number 703 and 704, Lady Thor. That is going in there as well.
Very nice.
And let's see here. You're also getting this awesome Ready Player One movie poster. Got the Iron Giant there. Guy holding,
that's awesome.
Holding up the boom box. That's going in there for you. You could put that on your kid's bedroom wall or yours. No judgment here. And then probably the best thing I would say is this nice Switch carrying case. That's got a case within a case. It's got a nice shoulder strap. It's got a place for your Switch and your Joy-Cons and the charging cables and everything. Perfect for the Switch that you have or are getting, or you could give it to someone else that does have one. So all those things are going in the prize giveaway for $1. You have one more chance for June. Be signed up, patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer by June 1st, and you get one entry. If you've been at least $1 a month subscriber since the beginning of the year, you'll have 6 entries for 6 months. So a lot of you have that. Some of you have fewer, but no one has more because we announced it in January. So that is coming up next month. That will be shipped out to you in June. One lucky person will do the drawing here on the podcast for the winner. So there you go. We want to give back to our patrons. We appreciate you. All right, so let's jump into this podcast this week, starting with the new releases. Dave, are you gonna be all right there? Do you have a little narcolepsy going on?
What happened, dude?
Got a little narcolepsy?
Dude, don't ever do ASMR on this podcast again.
That was a long way to go for that bit.
You put me to sleep, dude.
Wow. That was a long way to go, and I'm not even mad about that. So we got some new releases coming out this week, Dave. You wanna let us know what they might be?
Yeah, but first I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit, as they say. Shine a little light in the darkness, as they say less than pull the curtain back. I'm not gonna go ahead and read a big bunch of write-ups on these because, to be honest, I'm not really excited about a lot of these releases. Some of you might be. Not trying to downplay that at all, but I'm still gonna be working on my God of War Platinum. And honestly, I'm just being honest. I'm probably going to start another playthrough of The Last of Us this week. Came out of nowhere. I think I'm probably going to. I'm going to try to get the Platinum first, though, because if I don't.
How many is that going to be if you start another playthrough of Last of Us?
Well, I think it's close to 10.
Wow.
I say.
Have you ever played a game? I mean, have you ever played a game more than that? I mean, I know we've played Mario more than that, but like start to finish story type game. Have you ever done a game more than 10 times?
I honestly don't think so. I played The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past a lot, but play through it,
right?
Because you don't. I mean, The Last of Us is not really a game you play through. I mean, I'm sorry, The Last of Us is not really a game you just pick up and play a little bit. Like I want to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that I got the Platinum prior to that big monstrosity of a dilemma I had when I moved and lost all of my saves for my games.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So I have the Platinum, obviously. The trophies don't go away.
Right.
But I have no save states in The Last of Us. So what I want to do before The Last of Us Part 2 comes out, I want to play through the game on Grounded. But
that's
in order,
one life. Is that right? That's that?
I don't think it's one life. I think it's just 0 HUD. You can't tell how many bullets you have in your guns or anything like that. You have to just remember. You have to just keep track and know. I don't think it's one life. Okay. But I do know that I'm pretty positive you cannot select that difficulty unless you've at least completed it.
Oh, so you may have to do it before that even to get that unlocked.
Yeah, I'm going to have to at least play it through twice to beat it on grounded, I think. Because I think I'll have to play it on normal or hard to unlock ground. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't think I've played Skyrim that much.
I'm honestly not worried about it. Like,
I was going to say, I think the game I've played through start to finish the most times would probably be Final Fantasy Tactics. And I think even that I've probably only done like maybe 5 or 6 times.
I will say, naturally, I only played through. I've played through this the first time I got it. I was like blown away, right? The next time I got it, or I played through it, I think was at somebody's. It was a while later, and I was staying at somebody's house for like a few days, and they had a PlayStation with it on. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta play through it. Then it came out remastered several years later, so I played through it again, and then I watched a friend. When I moved to Michigan, I played through it the 4th time. Then when I came here, moved here, or not moved here, but when I moved back to Tennessee and decided I'm going to get the platinum, I played through it another 3 times, I think, at least. Gosh, so that was, wow. I think it was 7 when I got the platinum. So I shouldn't have said 10. I think the reason I think I played it more is because there was a lot of multiplayer time spent getting the multiplayer trophies. But yeah, I think I played it through 3 times in like a couple weeks in Tennessee.
Wow.
To get the platinum. Impressive. But anyways, let's talk about a lot of far less impressive games that are coming out this week, starting on May 15th.
Burn.
With the PC and the PS4, you're going to get Little Witch Academia, Chamber of Time.
I'm going to guess this has something to do with witches and chambers.
Interesting choice.
Sort of like a Harry Potter type thing, maybe. I mean, right. like Academy of
because of Chamber of Secrets.
Well, Chamber of Secrets kind of ties in there, Harry but Potter. Like the Witchcraft Academia,
fair
is what I was thinking. I actually had the thought, and then when he said Chamber of Time, I was like, man, it's really like Chamber of Secrets. Anyways, that's coming out on May 15th for all of you that care about that. Also on May 15th for the 3DS is Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux. Redux.
Sure. Again.
Yeah, I just, Shin Megami Tensei.
Somebody will be excited for that.
3DS, May 15th, not the Switch. Are we talking about that later? Did we talk about that last week, or are we talking about that this week? Oh, man, it was last week. Forgot. The Switch, all the Switch stuff. I'm still upset about it. It's still fresh in my mind.
Well, we're gonna touch on it a little bit.
Yeah, we got some of that planned.
May 15th, also for the PS4, is Dragon's Crown Pro. Now, whenever I see a game with Pro at the end, it again makes me think this is either something that I missed out on purpose. Like no wonder why I didn't know about the non-Pro version of this. Why am I going to buy the Pro version of this? This is not meant to be a new releases bash this week on the South Dakota Gamer. But I'm just saying, a lot of these games that they come out, they sneak them in here, and it's like, oh yeah, if you've played, games 1 through 6 of our series that you didn't know existed until right now, then you might like this 8th installment. You're like, what happened to 7? Don't worry about it, but you'll like 8.
Well, you just lost us our entire listener base that were Dragon's Crown fans.
All of them.
Yeah, you're right. I probably should be a little bit nicer with Battle Chasers Night War. Oh, no, that's the next one. Spoilers! May 15th for the Switch. Battle Chasers Night War.
Yeah, again, yeah.
And it's almost the names are getting crazier. May 5th for the PC and the PS4 is Horizon Chase Turbo.
Right. We could say, so is this a game Dave is just making up a name, or is it actually a game decide.
Yeah, we play.
Did Dave just make this up just now?
This sounds like they're trying to play off of. I don't know why. There's another Horizon. There's been a Horizon franchise racing game, right?
Yeah, Forza
Horizon, right? Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do with that, does it?
Not that I'm aware of. It doesn't even come on the Xbox because Forza Horizon is Xbox.
Yeah, that's right. It's exclusive. So it really seems like they're trying to, in my opinion, when I read this without knowing anything about it, I'm like, oh yeah, they're trying to catch some racing fans by using the word Horizon and Chase and Turbo. I mean, literally, yeah.
Horizon Chase, Turbo, Speed, Fast, Go.
You're using the one name Horizon of a popular franchise, and then you're using two very obvious terms used in racing.
Yeah,
and making the name of your game. Yeah. Horizon Chase Turbo PC, PS4, May 5th. Also on May 5th, May 15th. Also on May 15th for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch is Wizard of Legend.
I like it.
Ooh. Now, I know that this is not grammatically incorrect, but it does sound weird to me. Like, I would think more Wizards of Legend or... I mean, this is just
legendary wizard.
Yeah, Legends of Wizard. I don't know. This is one wizard.
Mm-hmm.
But legend.
It's Wizard of Legend.
Of legend, not of legends.
Right.
It's just one.
Well,
solitary legend.
Legend could also be like the grander idea of legend.
Well, this one's pretty grand because it's spanning all.
Yeah,
of the console. So
it kind of looks like Diablo. So
that I was gonna say it's the title sounds very like NES.
The Diablo.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, on May 15th, you can get that for all those aforementioned consoles and platforms. Also on the May 15th for the PS4 and PC is Omen Sight.
Yep.
I mean, are any now? Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, put me in my place if you need to. Have any of these games have they been on your highly anticipated release list? Have they been on your I know these exist release list?
The only one I've ever heard of even was Dragon's Crown.
Okay.
Oh wow, the only one I've heard of so far is Shin Megami Tensei.
Okay, fair. I've heard of that too, but zero interest.
I don't even know really what it is. I'm assuming it's an RPG, but. That's all I know about that one. Well, don't know anything about Omen Sight, though.
Staying on the subject of games I've never heard of.
Good job.
On May 16th and May 30th, coming out respectively on the PC and the Xbox One, is the game Stay.
What a terrible...
Wait a minute.
Like, how do you Google that game?
All caps. All caps. Google all caps.
For some reason, that one I feel like I've heard of.
Yeah. I don't know. May 17th for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Fox in the Forest. Now, Fox and capital N.
Forest. What is happening? What is happening right now?
Now, is this supposed to be like Puss in Boots, but Fox in Forest? I'm serious. Like, is the title? Is it like? I don't even know. I don't really know what I'm asking.
I understand what you're saying. I think I understand what you're trying to say.
Is it about Fox?
You're not. Yeah, I mean, even the title art even looks similar to Fox or Puss in Boots type, like how the cat would look. It's a side scroller.
Interesting.
I mean, I gotta say, the one thing it has for it is it's on the Switch. I mean, I want more games to come to the Switch. I'm not complaining about that. So I mean, I look at every game that comes out in the Switch store. I go through and I look. I got to say, I looked through a lot of games and none of them. Some of them catch my interest, but I don't want to pay the price point. Like I'm like,
fair. Yeah. Yep.
Now the next one though, I am interested in May 18th coming to the Switch. Little Nightmares Complete Edition. Now, this is the one that looks like the storybook side scroller, right? Where it's you're the little kid that's running through. Yeah. It interests me.
Sure.
I have not played any of it anywhere else, but it does interest me. And then May 18th, probably the most notable release is Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition.
Yes.
And we've talked about this before. This is sort of like the what's the big Japanese
Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors for Link and the Hyrule and the Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
Lore there. So on the Switch, May 18th. I don't typically play those games. I'll probably look at it real close and not buy it.
Sure.
But because I love all things Zelda. But
It
this also
looks
has multiple. This is a game you can play with your friends on the wonderful Nintendo Online service. So right?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty
sure.
I believe you.
I guess we should know. We
should. Should we? Man, that ASMR has really worked real good for you. Still
getting them.
Still struggling. That was real good sounds.
Real good man. Sounds. Hey, you're an ASMR poet. You don't know it.
I suppose. All right, there we go. New releases. You're welcome. All right, that's going to bring us to Dave's favorite segment of the podcast. What we've
been playing. Yeah, I love it.
What
my favorite part.
Just tried to cut me off. That was great. Good timing. All right, so I'll go first. I only have a few things to talk about. I did finish God of War last week. After the podcast ended, we played some Fortnite.
Let me interject.
Okay.
Is it just me, or is it annoying when you see people call it Dad of Boy?
It's silly.
I don't get why it's so clever. Like,
it's not clever. I get it. I get why they do it, but it's not clever.
Dad of
It's
Boy.
dumb. It doesn't even sound like the title of the game. Obviously, it is a dad, and obviously, it's dad of that boy, but that doesn't make any sense. So I finished that. We played some Fortnite as a crew after the podcast last week, which you can check out on our Twitch channel if you would like. And then after that, Dave and I talked about playing some PUBG, and I was like, Dave, I really want to finish God of War first. I'm pretty close. You want to play PUBG afterwards? He's like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna finish this up real quick, and then I'll let you know. He's like, all right, yeah. And then like 10 minutes later, he's like, yeah, you know what? He texts me, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna go to bed. To his credit though, he'd been up a long time. So I played God of War. I finished the story on that, rolled through the credits. And then the next day, this isn't really a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. We're not going to give any spoilers for that. But when you do finish God of War, go back home. Go back home. Don't when the game ends, just like a lot of open world games, the game is over, but you can go back to the world and explore other things, go places you haven't been or didn't finish. And I don't know if I would almost say do it right away. Go back home. When you finish the game, credits roll, go back home. That's all I'll say. It's really cool. So I had to do that the following day because I didn't realize I didn't do it yet. And I heard other people talk about it. So I went home and it was really cool. And I'll just say again that game is really fantastic. I loved everything about it. I love everything about it. I look forward to, as Dave was talking about, getting that platinum, finishing up and getting all the Ravens and all the other collectibles and things like that and getting the final trophy there. I've got a little ways to go, but that's okay. It's one of the things I'm not like, oh, I got to go back and play some more God of War. I look forward to it. I'm excited about it. One of the cool things I noticed when the game ended is the non-cut camera that we talked about, even from the title screen. Like you'll be at the title screen standing there, you hit start, and he literally goes from the position he's in. When the game ends, the credits roll, but you still have control over Kratos. So you're walking and you're doing things, but as the credits are kind of rolling off to the side, and Kratos and Atreus are still talking to each other as the credits continue to roll. So it doesn't even cut for the end of the game. The camera rolls right through the credits, right through the end of the game, to the end game, after game, and the camera never cut one time. So I was super impressed by that. I did play a little PUBG. I'll see, what day was it? It would have been, was it Wednesday? I had like a half hour before we had to leave and go somewhere. I'm like, all right, I haven't played PUBG. I'm kind of itching for some PUBG. So I popped it in. I didn't pop it in because I don't have a disc. I just started playing it and dropped down, and I got to Georgia Pool, solo match, Georgia Pool. There was no one else there. I looted a bunch of houses, had a SCAR, had a ACAM, had a 2X and a 4X, and all these great things. I'm like, oh, wow, this is really good. Found a car, got to the circle, and by the time I got to, it was probably moved twice. we were like around 20 people left. I'm like, wow, I'm really doing good. But then I look at the clock and I'm like, oh no, I got like 5 minutes and I had to leave. Like I couldn't say, well, I'm just a minute. I'm almost done. No, we had to go. And so I was like, oh no, I have 5 minutes. There's still like 20 people left. There's no way this will be done that quickly. So it kind of came down to a mountain. And so I drove a car up to the side of the mountain, ditched the car, and just started running up the mountain, kind of a little, not really being careful at all, knowing that I didn't have much time left. And I saw a motorcycle on the side of the mountain turned upside down, the engine's still going. So I'm like, all right, there's got to be a dude up here real close. So I'm just going to go up and just Rambo it, right, and just kill him. And so I'm running up the mountain. Sure enough, here comes a guy. And so I just started shooting, and boom, boom, boom. He fell off, killed him. And I was like, oh, okay, what was he doing? He didn't even see me. So I started going up to where his loot box was to see what he had. And another guy came over the other side, and I shot him, killed him. I'm like, oh, man, this is awesome. I went up there. He had a level 3 helmet, level 3 backpack, all this stuff. I'm like, oh, this is great. Now there's 2 minutes left. Like, I have to leave. There's 2 minutes left. There's no way I can finish. At this time, there's like 12 people left. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so good. I have such great stuff. And I can't finish. I like literally cannot stay. I have to go in 2 minutes. And so I'm just at the top of this mountain running around. I'm shooting up in the air, hoping someone like comes up. And I see some guy come after me, and he shoots me. He hits me a couple times. I'm like, I have to go. By this time, my 2 minutes is up. I literally have to go. So I ran as fast as I could away from him and jumped off the mountain, and I just fell for, I don't know, like 3 seconds where his arms start waving like this, and boom, hit the ground and died. He didn't get the kill because I died from falling. Got, I think, 11th place in a match I might have been able to win had I had enough time. And I
thought that story was going to end a lot better.
Really upset. I know.
I know, me too.
And
I was like,
on the edge of your seat, like somehow.
And for whatever reason, everyone converged on that mountain, and Chad killed them all.
Somehow you exploited the time loop, and like it went faster.
Nope. I lost. And that's the end of that story.
Wow, Chad.
And then tomorrow,
Killjoy.
We're going to play Destiny 2 again for the first time in a while, and maybe try to finish that raid. Going to have a SD Raiders community game night.
I just remembered that when I looked at the list here, and I realized what I'm playing tonight is I haven't touched it. So I have
Did you install it yet? Did you install it? It's like a 10 gig install, the new stuff.
Well, I installed The Last of Us today in like 10 minutes. So,
okay. So yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow. I may stream that if you're interested in heading over to the Twitch channel. I may stream us trying to finally beat the raid months and months after the game has come out, and months since I've played it last. Josh's brother, Caleb, and his sister-in-law, Josh's sister-in-law, are going to play along with us, as well as a couple other people, Dave and I, and one other, Siege 33. We're all going to try to conquer the raid for the first time in the new Warmind expansion. So hopefully we could tell you about that next week.
Isn't there some, like one of our long-lost...
Oh, yeah, there was one more. There's 6 people, isn't it? I just mentioned 5. Who is that 6th person?
Yeah. Why am I thinking like clocks?
Think.
Bombs.
Clocks, like ticking down?
Fuses. Isaac Ali.
Oh, gotcha.
Your friendly neighborhood terrorist.
Wow.
Hey, my mouth looks like a cartoon mouth when I go like this.
Is this a new talent you just learned, or what? All right, well, that's all I played. Dave, what did you play?
I played some God of War. I didn't have it on my list. I actually played it today. This morning was the first time I played it since I went back home.
Oh, yeah. You did photo mode a lot, didn't you? I saw that.
Yeah, I played around with photo mode. I'm like, I'm so glad. Imagine if it was... Now, I will say, if it was there while I was playing, it would have probably taken me out of the immersiveness, a lot. Because I would have used it a lot, because there's a lot of moments. I kind of wish I could go back to some of those battles and
I know what you mean.
Catch some,
Yep.
But yeah, it's awesome. I love that you can change his face, and seeing Kratos with different expressions is cool, because he basically only has one. Did you see the one I posted? You did. I think you liked it.
Yeah.
The one where I was
joke.
Yeah.
And get this.
Does it look funny?
It is.
I thought
it does. Funny. It's like right up next. I've not ever looked at that enemy that closely before. I'm like, oh, there's actually a face under there.
Yeah, so like I was in the process of when you stun him enough and you can hit R3 and he goes in and just tears him apart like a finishing move or whatever. So he's about to snap his neck, but he's got his hands around the thing's face and his head's like almost touching his head. And so when I turned it to where he was smiling, I'm like, oh, it looks like he's telling him a secret or something or a joke. And I was like, I seem to remember one time Atreus or Kratos or something, they were talking about something that was supposedly funny or something. So I Googled it to see if I could remember. And I was like, oh yeah, Atreus said, oh look, there's a water wheel. And then he goes, or more like an underwater wheel. And Kratos goes, And he's like, did you just laugh? No, I do not laugh.
I do not laugh. Boy.
So I put the caption, I was like, and then Atreus says, more like an underwater wheel. Isn't that funny, witch? And he's like, like that.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
But yeah, man, I gotta say, just a few moments that I spent with that, I'm like, oh man, it's so awesome. I went to the one of the realms you don't go to natively in the game. Keep saying that word. That is the right word, natively, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty sure it is. It's one of the realms. It starts with an M, maybe. Ufelheim or Melfelheim or Meselheim or Anaheim. I don't know what it was, but it's the one where it's completely everything's burnt up. It's a volcano world, and you can go there and you can do challenges. It's really cool. So you do you go through waves of enemies, and then you get some cool loot. You get those smoldering embers that you can upgrade your. Some of that armor is really cool looking, and I want it. I was wondering, where do I get that stuff from? Now I know. So I already did like the first two waves, and then you go up to another level, and I had to go to work, so I stopped. I also played some Fortnite, both on my PS4 and on my new iPhone X. I gotta say, man, deleted that real quick. Don't like it at all. Didn't like it at all. Looks fantastic.
It does.
Looks absolutely fantastic. When I'm holding my phone, I'm like, this is really cool that I have this caliber of a game on my phone. Like I can sit in the bathroom and play it. I can take it in the car. I can do, play it anywhere. But gosh, man, is it annoying? And is it true? It is cross-play.
It can be.
So you can be playing people on console.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said I'm going to use that as my excuse because every time I got killed, I got wrecked. Like not even a chance. It was so bad. And I'm like, why am I even trying to do this? It is cool. It is a novel. There is a novelty. There is a something special about being able to do that on your phone. But I've always hated the fake little controller on your phone. Controls. I hate having to touch my what I'm viewing and covering some of it up with my thumbs to make it work. And plus, it's just so hard to do. It's so counterintuitive to try to make it do something that you're so used to using analog sticks for. And so I took it off. But it looks really great. And for people that love that kind of stuff, go for it. It is really good looking, and I'm sure it could be fun if you can figure out how to do it right.
Really, really good looking.
If you can get one of those like controllers that works with your phone. But I mean, that's like the only use case for me would be to play Fortnite, and I'm not going to buy one of those just to play Fortnite.
Right. So I played some. I said on my PS4. I've jumped into the Thanos mode. I forgot what it called. I think it's just called Thanos mode, right? I don't know. But
I don't remember what they're calling it.
Single player, and so play solo. You dive in. You get the circles already there. Somewhere in that circle, the gauntlet's going to hit like a meteor. 9 times out of 10, I have been completely on the opposite side of the gauntlet. Not even close to the gauntlet. As far away as I could be from the gauntlet is where I was. The very first game I played, the gauntlet fell right next to me. But I was inside of a building. I can't remember what town it was, but I was inside of a really tall building at the very top. And I heard, and it's the first time I had played, so I've not seen what you do with the gauntlet. I don't know what the sounds are. And I finally figured out this noise I'm hearing is him. Somebody picked it up and they're jumping around, smashing everything in the city that I'm in. I was literally higher up than he was. And he couldn't find me, and I was hiding forever. And I lasted till the end by just not doing anything. The other every other time I played the game, I've not even been able to get to him before I get killed. And I've just been getting wrecked. And I don't know if it's because in my mind, my objectives are not the same. I'm trying to get to that thing. I'm trying to play the mode for what it is, get to Thanos, try to get the gauntlet. But I still get just as mad when I get killed like any other time. And I feel like it's more of a pointless death because I didn't get to do and come close to doing what I was there for.
Yeah.
So I think I just have to look at it a different perspective. It is cool, the idea. And I think I could be wrong. I feel like there's a higher drop rate of good loot.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, there is.
The loot's better.
Yeah, because I was getting some great guns. So that makes it feel worse anytime I die.
Sure.
Because it's like, oh, come on. I just lost a gold scar. Yeah, gold scar, a purple rocket launcher. Like I had all this great stuff, and this guy killed me with like his pick somehow from behind. I didn't even know that didn't happen. I didn't die from the pick, but it's like three or four times I died without even being able to see where he was yet. One time I shot like 8 sniper bullets at some guy, weaving back and forth, and then he just one-shots me. It's frustrating. But it was fun. Again, the game is fun. And then last but not least, I played some Ark Survival Evolved. Got pulled back into that by the Steel Boys. They kept calling me over there, saying how much they missed me and stuff in our Ark Survival Evolved thread that we have going on. I got to say, man, it's a little bit different. I got to get used to the play style. When I played for hours, like seriously hours and hours and hours and hours, I would play Ark back on my Xbox back in 2015. I mean, I'd come home from work, I'd play that all the time. I'd get up, I'd play it because me and my brother worked as a school teacher and was on summer break. And then my cousin Steven was a police officer or in school for it or something. And the schedules all lined up to where we were always on together. And there was actually one other guy. And we would build a base and build a base and build a base, and it would get raided, and we build it again, and get raided. We'd be leveling up, getting more and more stuff. And it was fun. Finally, we got to a point to where we got big enough to where this alpha took interest in us, and we got a hold of them and grew. It's a little bit different because the Steel Brothers all have a different way of playing. They like to be on the move a lot. So I always have to readjust. And because I want to build something nice. And then all of a sudden I realized they've all moved. They took a raft and went way down the coast. And they're living in this little half thatch. Like I built this nice big stone thing. I'm trying to get metal. I'm starting to convert it to metal. I'm trying to plan out where I'm going to put my crop plots and build up, plant turrets and all this stuff. And then they have moved and they're living in a half thatch, half wood shanty down by the swamp. And they've got like what they lovingly call their Dillo army. And they go around and they get Dilophosauruses and they bring them into their house because they can fit through the door like a human. And you come into the house to try to get something, and there's like 5 Dilophosauruses sitting in here, all breathing heavy, tails trying to knock you out. Like it's hard to move around and everything. And it's a different place.
Just simple folk.
What?
Simple folk, the Steel Boys.
They're Dillo farmers. They're like Dillo farmers. And I tamed this bird, this pterodactyl, right? I named it Petrie, after the great Petrie of the Land Before Time series.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one died real quick, and I pretended like that didn't happen. I tamed another one, named him Petrie. So I had Petrie for a while. I raised him from like level 10 to like level 35 or something, right? Flew him around. He was helping me get stuff and all that stuff. Well, finally, they coaxed me into coming out to visit their little place over by the swamp. And I had built like this big open area for Petrie to land in. Like it's this big, giant hatch that opens up. You can fly into the base and close it. It keeps you protected from the outside elements. Well, of course, they didn't have a Petrie shelter. So when I flew over there, I landed him on the top of the shanty house, and to where nothing could get him, right? And I made sure to put him on Do Not Follow because I didn't want him to follow me into the swamp. There's snakes in there. There's alligators that jump around. There's this really crazy alligator that's like a half-breed with a kangaroo or something. He leaps like it's insane. I don't know what the deal is with this thing. Really ridiculous. But anyways, so he's sitting over there. We're going around. We're doing this. We're playing for like 3 hours, right? Petrie's fine. Every once in a while I go check on him, make sure he's got enough meat to where he can eat and stuff and be, Well, then there's this big stupid animal that is like it's like a big giant bird with like talons that like for like hands though. He's got like arms, and he's got this big long feathery tail and a beak, but he's got arms. And for some reason, the Steel Brothers have deemed him the tickle chicken. And he looks like he's part like bird or something, but he's got these hands, and he's very aggressive. They are very, very aggressive, and we hate them. They're a nuisance. So there was this big one around. I think that's what it was. It was either that or something else. Either the tickle chickens were everywhere. We're trying to keep them out of here. Either a tickle chicken or something else comes up at one point, and we're like, oh, we gotta. If we can kill this thing, we'll get a lot of hide. We'll get like special stuff off him, like prime meat. We'll get all kinds of cool stuff off him, right? So I start. They have this plan. There's this hill that they like to use to where he can't get up this hill, right? You could stand above him. You can shoot down at him, and sometimes you can trap the NPCs, and they can't get up, and you can just shoot them until they die, or they'll try to run away. As we're developing this plan, Evan decides. Now you might have a different version of the story. I don't know.
No.
The way I remember is Evan decides to attack right off the bat. He throws a spear at him, right? Now, I definitely helped in attacking him because I wanted him dead. But I didn't know exactly what the plan was at this point. All of a sudden, it's going. You hear the aggression music, the music that means an animal is aggroing on you. Well, we go up to the hill, and this freaking beast, whatever it was, climbs straight up the hill, starts killing us. Sorry, like the plan didn't work. He's chasing us around. He kills one of us. We respawn. He kills another one. We have to go over here. You can only respawn in the bed so many times, and now we got to random respawn and try to run back. He's just going crazy, right? Absolutely insane. I don't think we ever kill him. He ends up running, chasing one of us way down the beach, far away from everything. I can't remember what happened, but seriously, like an hour and a half passed. And the guy's like, all right, we're going to get off. We're going to get off. You know, it's time to go to bed and everything. I'm like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So the last person gets off. I think it was Pago. Evan got off, and then I think Pago got off. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to my island. I had started a base on what they call Herbivore Island, which is this island where all the dinosaurs on it are herbivores. There's no carnivores. There's no aggressive animals unless you attack them. Now, people can come over there and they can mess around with you. But for the most part, we've been left alone. There's some people that had prodded our defenses and stuff and, you know, tested everything. But we were doing okay over there. You know, the base was getting built bigger, not smaller. We didn't have to keep rebuilding everything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go back over there. There's some metal deposits over there. We can make, you know. So I go over to the thatch wood shanty. It's dark out. And I look up, and Petrie's not on the roof. And I'm like, that's weird. He must have, like, flew off and landed or something. And then I thought, oh, no. I said, surely that tickle chicken or whatever that thing was didn't eat him. Didn't get to him up there. And I go and you can go into the settings, and you can look at your tribe chat notifications. It tells you everything that happens. You know, Evan died. Your tribe mate Paco died, or whatever their Merv, or I don't know what their weird names are. And all of a sudden, I see this. Your level 35 Petrie was killed by the Saurus, whatever it was.
Tickle chicken.
And I was like, no, Petrie.
So Evan got Petrie killed?
Poor Petrie. Poor Petrie.
That's what I heard.
No, Evan didn't get him killed. It's just, it was unfortunate the way things played out. I was very upset. I didn't play for a long time after that, and now I'm back. We're back, and we're not playing. They decided, hey, they made these things called fresh servers. It's servers where they created just for people that wanted to start from like fresh, start anew, and you can't transfer your giant, you know, leveled up things from, like, normally you can transfer from server. If you get to these spires that are on the map, you can transfer from server to server. It's the only way you can transfer. So a lot of times alphas will protect these things and keep people from leaving so they can just, you know, grief kill them all the time. Well, these servers are made so you can start over. Well, that's the negative part is you have to start over from level 0. We leveled up to 60 something, 70 something, and now we're starting over at 0.
Punching trees.
Yeah, punching trees again. And I'm just like, I don't. And also, we started on a new map called the Center that I've never played before, never. So, to the Steel Boys' defense, and basically Evan, because the first I get on this thing, right, and they're like, oh, here's where I'm sorry I'm taking so long. Here's where you find us. We're at latitude 35 and longitude 70. So come here, and it took me like 30 minutes, 30 minutes to even find them. First of all, I died like a bunch of times. Finally, I get there. This is the first night, right? They're building all this stuff up, a few hours, and I find this giant bluff that goes way up in the sky, and it's not very wide at the top, but it's enough to build. And I spent all night building ladders and thatch up all the way up to the top. So and finding a way to get up there so I could start building. And I built a little house up there. Pretty cool house for starters. Put a bed in it so I could respawn, did all this stuff. Next day I get on, some enemy had destroyed the access to get up there. So I was asleep up there, because your character is live on the server no matter what, even when you're gone. So you try to get them hidden. And so I woke up and I'm sleeping in my bed. I get up, but there's no way off this. It's like 400 feet down. There's no way for me to get down. And then they're like, yeah, somebody destroyed it, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing I hear is, okay, folks, and this is Evan's voice. Okay, folks, the raft will be departing in 10 minutes. Please get everything that you need for the journey. And we will be leaving in 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, crap. I got this little house. I started just, maybe I find a wife and settle down and everything. And, although I am playing as a girl this time, so that would be not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying.
I was gonna say, but that's fine these days.
Yeah. So I destroyed my house, got all the stuff that I could get together, and jumped off the bluff and died, and then respawned and went and picked up the stuff from my dead body and carried it to the raft. And we drove over to, like, all right, let's go. Let's explore this. And we drove for about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, got out and got killed by a bunch of people and had our stuff stolen. And I'm kind of like, man, I just don't know if I want to go through this again. It's crazy. But I probably will at some point, especially after I get that. I don't know. There's so many things I want to play. And but I got to say, Ark Survival Evolved, it's still fun. It's crazy fun. And we should all get on it. We should all get on it at one point. All of us.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun. Well, next time you guys jump in, shoot me a invite or something. I'll jump in.
All right. I will.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to do everything all over again. But
they're real good teachers.
I know how to punch trees.
Come on. If it was just me, it would be a little bit easier, Chad. Okay. They're trying to, how Evan wants everything to be fast.
He's gonna love this episode. All right. Anything else you've been playing, Dave?
No, man. That's it for me, buddy.
All right, Josh. What have you been up to?
Well, I played a few things this week. First of all, Chad, I know you started to talk about Fortnite. Did you say that we got another win?
I did not mention that, no. Because it was basically you.
Well, it was us. We
were all dead.
We did it.
The only one alive.
Well, I got super lucky. The circle was just closing in on.
It was very fortunate.
Already built is pretty cool. But yeah, we got it. That's 2 weeks in a row.
That's right.
We got a Fortnite win. As the South Dakota Gamer crew. My buddy Evan from work joined us for a little bit. Played a few games with us. That was fun. I played a little more Fortnite solo this week and ended up getting another solo win.
Nice,
which was great. It's always, I feel like I always start. It's always the games where I start with really bad loot, and I'm like, it's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna play this out as far as I can.
Yeah.
And then at some point I'll kill somebody somewhere along the way, and they'll just have great stuff and tons of materials and all kinds of stuff, and then everything just changes that quickly. One thing I have learned though, so when I was playing solo before, I would pretty much just try to stay out of sight unless I just like happened upon somebody. I would try to stay out of sight the entire game until there was like 4 or 5 people left. And just like sort of like watch silently as like people were taking each other out. And then when there's like 5 people left, usually the circle's fairly small. You can pretty much gauge just about where everybody's at because most people are engaging at that point. And then I would just try and like observe and like see, like I would watch a firefight, see who probably got weakened and like maybe go pick them off and like kind of work my way there. I've started engaging like, so I'm still for like the middle of the majority of the game. I'm still trying to kind of stay out of sight and like just keep to myself, but I've started engaging like really early in the game. So before, like if I would see a guy, I would just leave him alone, go my separate way. But I've started like, while there's still, 40, 50 people left in the game, I've started engaging really early on, which again, like, it's just that it's like, if you can kill somebody that early on, it's almost like finding a supply drop. Like if you can kill somebody, because usually they've collected a decent amount of materials at that point. They probably have some ammo and like some decent weapons and things like that. So it's like a little, sometimes you can turn the tide for yourself a little bit earlier on and then be that much better prepared at the end. Cool. So that's been working out pretty well for me. So that's how I won this game. I took somebody out like mid-match and he had just a ton of material. He had a gold scar and like some other stuff. So I got that win. So it was good. I played a little of that Fortnite Thanos mode as well. And yeah, pretty much the same experience. So when I first jumped in, I just wasn't exactly sure how it worked. So what I thought happened was it was still last man standing, but one person had the gauntlet. Everybody else tried to kill him. And they're like, the goal was not to kill each other until that person was dead. And then when that person's dead, the gauntlet drops, somebody else picks it up. And it's just like, you keep going until there's nobody left. Not so. It's still every man kills every man. It's just one person is Thanos and the rest are not. So I died real quick the first couple of times until I figured that out. And then when I found Thanos, and there was like 3 or 4 people also around that I knew were there. And so he's like jumping around and like punching stuff and like doing his like power slams and stuff like that. So I just open up fire on him, assuming that like there's 3 or 4 of us that he's trying to kill all at once, assuming everybody else would be like, yeah, all right, like let's get him. And then we'll like sort everything out later. No, as soon as I opened fire on Thanos, everybody else knew that like my attention was not on them. And I was getting shot from like 3 different angles. So then like after a few games, I learned like you gotta kind of hang back like you do in the other mode. So I ended up getting to play as Thanos for just a little bit, but I like see this is where like with new game modes like this, like it's fun. It's definitely not my favorite. It definitely imbalances the game in a way that would not be fun to play all the time. But they nerfed Thanos almost immediately after that mode came out, which I think was a terrible, like that's a mistake, huge mistake, because like you pick up the gauntlet and he's extremely slow at everything he does. So whether it's the punch or the jump or whatever, everything has a huge delay on it. And so you do have like more health and more shield than like a normal player would have, but the shield only regenerates if you kill somebody. And I don't think your health regenerates at all. So like you're jumping around and like, so you press the jump button and it literally takes a few seconds before he actually launches up in the air. So you're getting shot while you're like charging up to your jump. And then you have like basically one shot to hit somebody when you come back down from your jump. And then you're running very slowly, like you're a huge target. And he didn't feel very powerful at all when I played as him. And it's very easy to die. So like, it's almost better to not pick up the gauntlet in that mode and let somebody else do it and just kill whoever you can kill and then deal with him at the end or something. But so I don't know, like it seems like they need to do a little more balancing to really figure that out. I'm not sure how much more they're going to do though, because I don't know how much longer it's going to stick around. But It is a really cool idea, and it's cool to see them incorporating other stuff into this game, like being willing to do like some of the crossovers and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. I played a little more Far Cry 5. Still working at getting that ending. I'm like halfway through Jacob's region, which is the last region I have to go before I do the final one. And like I don't know if this happened to you, Chad, but like I'm starting to run out of like story missions that I can do. And maybe it's just because I didn't like I haven't explored enough or something, but like I have most of the map uncovered. And it just seems like I don't have that. I think I have 2 story missions right now. And almost no side missions.
Interesting.
Currently open. So maybe I just need to explore the map more, but it's still super, super fun. I saw a video, I think it was IGN or something, where somebody was getting attacked by a helicopter, and so they were like shooting at it, just like hip firing with a sniper rifle, and then the helicopter came down like level with them. They were like up on this hill, so it came down level with them, and they pulled out a throwing knife and threw a throwing knife at the pilot of the helicopter and hit him and like took out the helicopter. And I was like, man, I want to try that. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna try that at some point. Played some Rayman Legends. It's a real good game. Still very, very fun. I'm trying to get Cecilia into it. I think she'd have fun playing that together.
Co-op.
We played some Diner Duo VR.
Ooh.
So that was also fun. It's basically Overcooked but in VR. Lots and lots of fun. Neat. It's like it's very hilarious because like one person's in a VR headset, like actually making the food, and then the other person is looking at the TV screen, serving the food. So you're both looking at different things, but like it's all in real time. So I can see what she's doing, she can see what I'm doing. So usually I'm the chef in the VR headset, like making the burgers or sandwiches or whatever, and she's serving it to people. And I love one of my new favorite thing to do. So like at the beginning of the game, you're just making mostly just different variations on burgers. And one of my favorite things to do is grab the patties, and then there's like this pipe that like runs along the ceiling over, like there's like a bathroom door to the right, and this pipe just runs along the ceiling. So one of my favorite things to do is grab the patties and throw it up and see if I can get it to land on the pipe over the door. Nice. And just like see how many I can get to stick up there, like in between serving customers, obviously. And then I also like to take the ketchup and mustard bottles and just like squirt them all over the place. Yeah. And then I tell her like I'm trying to keep a clean restaurant and I need her to mop up or something.
Get to work.
It's I love stuff like that because it just lends itself to a lot of like weird antics. Hilarity. Like I'll be like I think I'm hilarious. She doesn't find it that funny, but I'll be like weird. I'll be like, hey, extra bread for your table, and I'll just like pick up a hamburger bun and throw it at one of the customers. Yeah. And I think it's so funny.
That's how it goes.
He doesn't think it's hilarious at all. But yeah, I mean that's how you do it in Zesto, right?
Yeah, every time we just throw it as far as you can go.
So we did some of that. I've been playing this game. I've had this game for a while on my Vita. I think it was a PS Plus game at some point. It's called Slain Back from Hell. It's a side scroller. It's sort of like I don't know. It's sort of like Salt and Sanctuary or like a Metroidvania, like a Castlevania type game, but you're not really like gaining powers that unlock different areas. It's very linear, but it's very hard. But it's a lot of fun. The graphics are fun. It definitely has that like Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color type of feel and look to it. You can even turn on CRT mode if you really want like the old school feel. Yep. So that's fun. And then I dove back into lastly I dove back into The Witness this week. I haven't played for a while.
How hard is that to do then?
It's just kind of been sitting on my PS4, and I'm like, man, I should jump back in. So I did. Not super hard actually. Okay. Like, come to find out, the stuff you learn once you learn it, it sticks pretty well.
Yeah.
and so you're able to remember it pretty well. At least there wasn't like a ton of adjustment, but I am remembering like how important it is to find where to go next. And the game doesn't really tell you, but there definitely is a path, unless you just luck out and figure something out like non-sequentially. There definitely is a path like from one area to another where if you do it in that order, where you're going will build on the rules that you learned in the previous area.
Okay.
So I've had a few moments where I think I know what the rules are, and I'll solve like 3 or 4 puzzles in a row, and then it'll happen on one, and I'm operating on the same logic and it's not working. And I'm like, I'm sure this is what solved the other puzzles for me, and it's not working. So then I have to go back to the other ones and look at it all over again.
Right.
And think like, okay, I thought that this was why I solved this, but
it must be something else.
Apparently I just lucked out because it's something completely different. So that's happened a few times. And so yeah, it's definitely a game that you have to spend a lot of time with. But I happened on a few puzzles that are, I mean, I guess the game's been out for a really long time, so I can talk about it. But like, I happened on a few puzzles that instead of like drawing lines on a grid, you actually have to walk the lines on like a maze that's on the floor.
Yeah.
And so you're like lighting up floor tiles as you walk. So that took me a second to like figure out like what was actually going on there. And then you have to like, either you have to like draw a diagram like all those crazy people were for a long time, or what I did is I just took a picture of my screen on my phone.
Yeah.
And then like you just count the squares that you're walking. But it's amazing how many different variations they can do, or they did, on just simple line puzzles, and then just throwing in all these different rule sets, and then combining rule sets, and then changing the format, and then like incorporating elements from the environment. Like you're looking through this grid at something behind it, and the line puzzle that you're doing is based on the shape you see behind it.
Right.
Chad, isn't one of the ones with the light up? Isn't it one of the ones we co-opt?
Yeah, we did. Dave and I co-opted a lot of those because we played at the same time in the same place and tried to figure them out together.
See, that's probably the best way to do it.
And that was fun. We made that a co-op game, and then Dave decided later on to just find a walkthrough and play as far as he could until he got to the very last one, which is random, and couldn't figure out the ultimate puzzle
because I didn't learn any of the other ones.
Because he didn't learn anything. He just walked through it, and then we never played it again because. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that I like about this game, because you could look up the answers to every puzzle, but it's like cheating at math in high school. Like if you don't learn the concepts, you can't. It's like the whole game is about learning all these rule sets and variations on these rule sets and combinations of rule sets, and how like if this rule set and this rule set are in operation at the same time, how does one change the other,
right?
Or how does it change like how you look at this puzzle and all this stuff. So it's such a good game. It's very clever.
It is smart.
There was this one area where like just a few minutes ago as I was playing, you're solving puzzles based on, so there's like a tree next to each panel, and where the apple is on the tree determines like where you put the line. And then I came across this one tree where there is no apple, and I was like, what the heck? Like, did I completely misinterpret this rule set as well? And then I went back and looked, and I was like, no, like it is the apple. That's what I'm looking for. And what happened on this tree was the image on the panel and the tree did not match, because the tree had one extra broken branch.
I remember that
the panel didn't have. And so that was where, obviously that's where the apple was,
right,
before the branch broke. So you had to like, that's where you put the line. But
I remember that.
Like it's mind blowing that like basically one person made that game, and there's like that level of nuance and detail.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at environment clues to solve these like crazy line puzzles. And then you just like, you happen across these grids where it's just got like tons of like symbols that you have no idea what these symbols mean because you haven't run across it yet. So you're like, oh, like I can't do this one yet because I have no idea what's going on. Right. It's just like purple star shapes and then like yellow like L shapes and like black dots and white squares and black squares and all this stuff, and they're all the same puzzle. And you're like, I don't know, but man, it's so good. So I'm excited to jump back into that. Like that's the game I played a little bit yesterday and a little bit today, and that's the game like just recently where like I was thinking about it at work today.
Your
like,
brain, yeah.
That I wanted to come home and like play more. And then I found this crazy thing. Sorry, I'm taking a long time too. But I found this crazy thing. Like I opened, it was like some random puzzle. It wasn't tied to anything else. It was like in this cave, and I opened this like table, and there was just a paper laying on this table with a solution basically to a line puzzle that I hadn't come across yet. So I took a picture of it because I was like, I'm probably going to need this later.
Right.
And then I happened across where I needed that like just a few minutes ago when I was playing. And so like I pulled up the picture, I did the line puzzle, and it showed me a movie, like a short film with a guy talking about like information and how we take in information and why we seek out information and how we're able to process new information and like, you know, all this, like it's just like this long philosophical talk this guy does in a movie. Oh my gosh. And like, so, and it's like live film footage, like it's real film footage. And you're just like watching it, and you had no idea what this was going to do when you put in this line, like solution. It just happened. And apparently there's a ton more of those on the island, because there's like 6 other screens that were blank. And so like, I just stood there and like tried a few different other variations, hoping I get lucky and see something else, but I didn't.
It's crazy.
But it's so like there, and stuff like that is just like, that's just apparently just a bonus in the game. Like it doesn't tie to anything else. It's just that one thing. It's just that one little film area, and it'll show you things. And I happened across like a couple narrative sections too, where like you press a button or find a thing, and you have this narration playing like while you're playing the game. It's just, man, it's so good. It's bizarre. Like, it's crazy that I'm just now like coming back to it because it's been out for like 2 years or whatever, but it's really good.
Yeah. Very smart game. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
All right. That's what we play, guys.
And that's what I play.
What I've been playing. What I will play again.
Playing things. All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the news that you can use
if you so chooseth
to do so. Yeah.
Brought to us by Papa Andy and his word of the week, famulous. Famulous, guys. Now, quickly, let's define famulous for the listeners, please.
Oh, I thought when you said quickly, let's define, I thought you were just going to tell us the definition, and then
I thought about it for a second, but that's not fun.
Famulous, of or relating to famine.
Okay. Dave?
This is the much lesser known version that failed for the family version of the Famicom over in the Asian countries. The Famulous wasn't quite as good. Yeah. I mean, if you give me more time to research,
sure,
I could come up with a lot more reasons why this is true.
Okay.
You're just gonna have to believe me.
Fair enough. So famulous is actually an assistant or servant, especially one working for a magician or scholar.
What?
That's right.
My favorite thing about that definition is that apparently in some way, in some category, magicians and scholars are
they're
bookends of a
they are in the same category somehow
of learned teachers.
I love it.
I don't know.
So are we talking about Doctor Strange type magicians, or he's not really a magician.
He's a sorcerer. They call him a wizard though.
He could be considered. Yeah, some people that don't understand the fine arts of such sorcery.
Yeah, so there you go. If you ever want to be a famulous,
in front of the woods.
I love that so much, especially for a magician or scholar.
Either one. All right, well, let's jump right into the news here this week. First off the bat, big game coming out next year. I'm really excited for this from BioWare and EA is Anthem. And EA had a financial call here within the last week or so, and they're expecting the release of Anthem to happen in March of 2019. They said the final month of their fiscal year for 2018, which would indeed be March of next year. It lines up with when Andromeda came out, and also Mass Effect 3, maybe even Mass Effect 2, all kind of came out in that March timeframe. So do you guys think that they will hit this mark?
It's crazy because, I mean, now I'm expecting a big showing at E3.
Sure, I agree.
I believe whatever their E3 thing is, they have their own little conference now, don't they?
They do, but there's no doubt Anthem will be on somebody's stage, whether it be Sony or Microsoft.
Yeah, because they need to start showing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it wouldn't be the case if they were doing like a surprise release or like a Fallout thing, but they teased this way early,
right?
Yeah.
And they've not shown anything really since then. Only thing we've heard is, it's in trouble. It's in trouble. I keep hearing, it's in trouble. Yeah. Because it's EA, I think, is the main reason. Because EA's got, plagued with these little
Star Wars stuff,
PR problems.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely interested in the game. The idea of the game is something that is really cool to me.
Yeah. I like the idea too. I do have a feeling that they're not going to make this release window.
Yeah.
I just like I don't know. I feel like if we were that close to
release. Thank you, Josh, for acknowledging that that's not a release date.
Window, yes. Window. I learned my lesson last year. But like I feel like if we were that close to release, we would have seen more already. It's not like Dave was saying. It's not like this is a surprise. We know this game is coming. It seems like they would have said more about it. Though,
yeah, it's
I don't know,
10 months away.
I mean, the only gameplay we've seen was the actual setup gameplay for the announcement, which is obviously the only little tiny finished portion of the game. We've not seen, as far as I know, we've not seen any other gameplay.
No, not.
But I mean, from what I understand, Andromeda. Part of the reason Andromeda was so bad was that it was just super rushed right at the end. And released before they were ready to release it. So I feel like if anything, I mean, if EA is smart, they need to
learn from that.
Yeah, and aside from what we saw in the last E3, what else do we know about the story or anything?
Well, they did say a little bit on this call specifically, but that's, I mean, nothing really, honestly.
Just like, I mean, they've just been recycling that footage from E3.
Yeah, the Iron Man flying around. So
I
look forward to. I'm sure we'll see a lot of it. I'm hoping. I mean, we should. If it is indeed coming out in March, we will see a lot of it here in E3. Just a few short weeks from now. Next, Nintendo. Dave alluded to that earlier in this podcast. We talked a little bit about their online functions coming here in September last week. And the very next day after the podcast, they talked about the Virtual Console specifically. Via Jason Schreier, he got in contact with someone from Nintendo, and I don't have the quote in front of me, but basically what they had said is that the Virtual Console brand that you're familiar with right now will not exist in any fashion on the Switch.
This makes me angry. Not because I'm like attached to the brand Virtual Console, but it, pardon my French, pisses me off that this is how they choose to address, like, people are like
cagey, right?
People are not asking for the brand Virtual Console. People are asking
for the games,
to be able to access old games on the new hardware. And they know that's what people are asking for. Mm-hmm. And the way they choose to address it is so semantic.
Mm-hmm.
They come out and they're like, the Virtual Console brand, like, there's no plans to bring that to the Switch. That's not what people are freaking asking for. Like, no. Come on.
Right. I agree. And it's them answering and talking about it without actually addressing the issue. So what they do is they piss people off, like you said, by saying there will be no Virtual Console. You get people that think that they will not get an opportunity to play old games at all and get angry about that. And then they get guys like us that understand what they're saying and get angry about the way they're going about it. So the Virtual Console name will not be attached to the Switch in any way to play old games. We talked about the 20 games or 10 of the 20 that you're going to be able to play NES games if you are paying for their subscription plan. I'm sure we'll be able to play old games on your Switch at some point or another. Just whether they do something similar to the Virtual Console where you can buy them and have them, or if it's a Netflix subscription type plan where they come and go and you can play them when they're there as long as you're playing for their online, subscription plan.
So what do you think? Do you think that they I get two things out of this. Either they did not want to hurt their Switch sales and tell people what their real plan was, or they didn't have a plan when the Switch came out. They didn't know how to get something is weird about the Switch. The fact that it's got such a weird online connectivity.
The Switch launch feels rushed. To me, it feels like they didn't have a plan.
Yeah, their chat doesn't work. I mean, you gotta hook it up to a phone to do all this other stuff. They use weird excuses like, we're watching out for the kids, and then they'll put Doom on their platform, and then now they're saying, the Virtual Console, which has made them a ton of money. I mean, one of the best favorite things about the Wii, the DS, and the GameCube was that they had a virtual. Wait, did the GameCube have a Virtual Console? It's 3 platforms. It was the Wii U. The Wii U did have it. Okay, so the Wii U, the DS, and the Wii U, or the Wii, the Wii U, and the DS. But yeah, everybody wants this. And the biggest draw that the Switch has is it's mobile. All of those games are mobile. And it doesn't seem like if they just would have put some thought into this, that they wouldn't have been able to put. I mean, I guess I should say the DS. I guess the DS is already mobile. This is just a better way to do it, a better way to play it. So I don't understand why they couldn't do this. Something had to have been. It's either they're really looking for a way to make extra money, which is just really, really, really greedy, and they didn't want to tell us up front, we're not putting it out in the Virtual Console, because if you put out the Virtual Console on the Switch, it's my understanding that everybody that's bought games on the Virtual Console before, they would be able to have those, correct?
Well, from the Wii to Wii U, they made you pay a small fee,
right?
Whether it be $1 or $5 to get a game you've already purchased. So you still are paying something. So unlikely that you would just get what you've already paid. You probably have to pay something else to get it again.
And so now you've got nothing on the Switch that connects you. They set up this new Nintendo account or whatever it's called, right?
Well, the Nintendo account's always been around, but the fact that they won't, and I think you're onto something here where the Virtual Console as a brand isn't going to exist. So depending on how they decide to allow, because it'd be crazy not to, right? Let us play old games. But the new way they decide to do it will not connect to what you've already done, meaning you'd have to start from scratch.
Yeah, it's just crazy because they came out with the NES Classic, right? And they
that could be part of it too.
They made that ridiculous to get. Then they come out with the SNES Classic. They made it more feasible. Now they've just announced that they're coming out with the NES Classic again. I think in June you're going to start be able to get more. Yeah, and they're going to bring out the SNES is going to come more, and they're going to sell all the way through the end of the year.
Yeah, they're saying the NES Classics will be available June 29th, and you should have no problem getting them all the way to the end of the season.
So that's great news, but that still does not solve. We want them on the Switch, this brand new console that you've had. The last 3 iterations that you put out could have this Virtual Console, but the Switch does not, which is what everyone wants. You've got people who wouldn't even care if they had to buy it again. You've got people out there, yes, that want, I want to be able to carry my purchases over. But you've got even more people that are saying, just let me pay you the money to put them on my Switch, and you can't. They're not giving us a way to do that. I mean, it looks like eventually that's going to happen, but this is like the Switch has been out over a year now. And they're just now starting to trickle out information about how you'll be able to play these games.
It's the side of Nintendo that just is in stark contrast to the genius that the Switch is. It's their messaging, it's their online service that just seems to be from a completely different company from all the right things they're doing, all the great things that the Switch and Nintendo is bringing us. And then this one pocket, they either have an idea or they have a plan, and they just are so tight-lipped about it that it's a bad look for them in that aspect. Or they're just unsure because they pushed it a little faster than they wanted to. And so it seems crazy. But undoubtedly we'll have a way to play some of these old games. It won't be in the same way we've been used to. But like Josh said, just tell us then. Just tell us how we're going to be able to. So we're not wondering and begging and asking. And as Dave's telling you, shut up and take my money. Let me play Mario 3 on my Switch, please. But they refuse to address it directly. And for me, that's the frustrating part. Either just tell me we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, or we're going to do that. We'll just tell you about it, how we're going to do it later. And that whole mentality is what I think is causing all the uproar. So we'll undoubtedly hear some more things come E3, and maybe that's what they're saving it for. They did say this whole online thing is going live in September, most likely, or people are speculating along with the launch of maybe the new Smash for Switch. So we'll see how all that works out. Stay tuned. Please be excited, as Nintendo would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next, a possible leak, maybe an E3 ruining leak from Walmart Canada, posting online a bunch of listings for games not yet announced coming to the PS4, to the Xbox One, and even to the Switch.
Way to go, Canada.
Yeah, America's hat. Way to go. You ruined it. Such as some that are, we are kind of expecting. We've talked about them even on this podcast, but the Division 2, the next Splinter Cell game, The Last of Us Part 2. Again, not a surprise, right? But they have placeholders and some, no real box art, but just like boxes, blue or green, depending on the platform, and then just the word of the title on a black background. Dragon Quest 2. Far Cry 5 stuff. Let's see here. Borderlands 3, which is a game we know is probably being done, and Gearbox has hinted at that. Just Cause 4 is one that's on there. Final Fantasy 7 Remake. They're saying this is so assumedly these are placeholders, right, for a game that might be coming out assumedly this year. Final Fantasy 7 Remake is not.
We're not even
this year,
close to that,
or next year,
nope,
or the year after that. Metroid Prime. Let's see here. The next NBA game, Assassin's Creed. That's all it says. Just Assassin's Creed. No name, no subtitle, no number. Destiny Comet, which was the code name for, I believe, the DLC for Destiny 1, if I'm not mistaken. Lego DC Villains. Let's see here. Gears of War 5. Here's one I really like. Forza Horizons 5. Huh. Does that sound weird to any of you? Forza Horizons 5? It's kind of like the name Dave read in the new releases this week. So the most recent Forza Horizon, not plural, game that came out was Forza Horizon 3. Forza Horizon 4 has not been made, but apparently Forza Horizons 5.
Well, Jed, you're
to the Xbox One.
I mean, obviously you're not familiar with the Forza Horizons.
Apparently, the
franchise.
First 4 of those.
There have been 4.
And then maybe the big one that's seen the most credibility because it has indeed been announced since is Rage 2. So this whole product sheet is there. You can go look at it on Twitter. Wario64 is where I found it. And when this came out, the Rage Twitter account went to Walmart Canada's Twitter account, screenshotted the Rage 2, and like marked it up in pink, like spray paint, like they circled it, said wrong font, no anarchy sign, and stuff like that. Said, what are you talking about? And then as we move into the next point here, the week after that, they started putting out these teaser images, Big Ben with pink spray paint on them, a rocket going into space with the 514 number on it everywhere. And then today they announced that indeed Rage 2 is a game that they're working on, that is coming out. There's no date or anything on it, and we've not seen any gameplay yet, but they have indeed said Rage 2 is a real thing. Avalanche Studios is working on it. Avalanche, known for the Just Cause 3 and also a Mad Max game that came out. And I will say a lot of the things they showed gave me a really strong Mad Max vibe for the minute or so trailer that they teased today. And they're saying that we will see some gameplay footage tomorrow. So
Nice.
May 15th, gameplay footage will be revealed for Rage 2. Did either of you guys play the original Rage?
I think I played like maybe 10 minutes of it. I can't remember where, but I did not play all the way through it at all.
I don't think I ever played it.
Yeah.
But I got sort of a Mad Max vibe from the first one. It's got that very like post-apocalyptic, barren.
Yeah, even Borderlands feel kind of without the cel-shaded artwork. But yeah, I played a little bit of it too. I don't remember why I didn't get into it. I definitely didn't finish it. I know a big thing of it is that people hated the ending. And I don't know what the ending is, but people hated it.
I feel like remembering it also didn't review well. Like it didn't do super well when it came out.
I think it was on a new, because id Software did the first one. And John Carmack was the head of the studio then, and they had a new, like, not art style, but a new way of doing things graphically that was brand new for the time. And it looked fantastic. It was a great looking game.
This is the one with all the parkour too, right? That was a big. Is that the same one that I'm thinking of?
I don't think that. I mean, I could be wrong. I said I didn't play a ton of it, but I don't remember a parkour thing being a big part of it. It was just a first person. Like they all had colanders on their heads and a lot of metal and
that's weird.
Caves and dirt, doom buggies, stuff like that is what I recall. But it did. It gave me a Mad Max Borderlands feel for sure.
Was it a story? Is it a story game?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Narrative driven for sure. So tomorrow or today, at the time of the audio version of this podcast, we should have some gameplay for this.
You know what? I was thinking of? Probably a much lesser known game. I was thinking of a game called Blink.
Oh yeah.
Which was an FPS, but it had tons of
vaguely
parkour in it.
Remember that? Yeah. Not that. Nope.
Not that.
All right, so please look forward to Rage 2. Next, we talked about the start of the NES Classic. They did announce Nintendo that is going to be going on sale again on June 29th and should be widely available to the end of the year. So I will plan on getting that. $60? Yes, please. Hopefully I can find one. Next, Bosskey, Cliff Bleszinski's new studio. And he announced today on Twitter they're shuttering the studio. So they did Lawbreakers last E3, and it came out and did not set the world on fire, had good ideas, and, they put a lot of work into it, didn't work out. And then here just recently they did Radical Heights, the Battle Royale game, in early access, put together in 5 months, I believe they said. And then today, just kind of out of nowhere, Cliff goes online and says that they're actually shuttering the studio. From what I understood, they are going to do some support for Radical Heights, but eventually I think it'll just kind of fizzle out to nothing. And he's going to take some time off and reflect on all the money he has in his bank account until he can decide what he wants to do next.
I mean, yeah. Who knows how much money that is in his bank account at this point? Like, he opened a game studio.
Right, that's true. I'm sure it's a lot less than it was.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling he's probably okay.
Probably. I mean, like, he's Cliffy B, so he can get work if he wants work in the industry, I'm sure. That name still, I think, holds
absolutely
a lot of favor. But it's sad. I was like, that's out. My brother-in-law and like my wife's family live out that direction. And my brother-in-law is like, he's got a food truck out there, and he's catered for Cliff a few times, like knows him.
That's cool.
Like fairly well, like, like has his phone number, and like they've talked a few times and stuff, but said he's always like a really nice guy. Like seems like he takes care of his employees really well. And I was actually I was on their website, like looking for job listings. Cause I was like, how cool would it be, to work for Cliffy B? But
absolutely.
I don't know, man. Like he said, like Radical Heights, like they were proud of it, but it was just too little, too late. And Lawbreakers, I think they sort of shot themselves in the foot by deciding to go free to play, and then at the last minute deciding that they should charge for it, which is what they should have done all along.
Right.
And so there's just, I think for Cliff having like never owned or headed up or started a studio before, there's probably some bad decisions on the business end of it that I think hurt them, which is why we may be where we're at. But the other piece to this is, from what I was reading, it seems like Epic, a lot of the developers he had working for him at Bosskey had come from Epic.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of as things were like winding down and they were like, you know, he even said like Radical Heights was sort of a desperate attempt to like get in on the, you know, the Battle Royale thing. And as some of that was sort of starting to play out, it seems like a lot of those devs were going back to Epic from Bosskey. So it seems like he was just losing people until, you know, finally just it wasn't viable anymore. But stuff like this is always sad, especially when it's somebody like, you know, Cliff,
talented,
like who's been around. Yeah, you know, he's got good ideas, and you know he's got the stuff. And all those developers, I'm sure, like they made Lawbreakers, which was not a bad game.
No.
So it's sad.
Yeah, it is. Undoubtedly, we'll get something else from Cliffy B in the future, but not through Bosskey. And then finally, in the news this week, there's a new gun coming to Fortnite and some changes to the lab at Dusty Divot. Josh, you put this on here this week. What's going on?
So Fortnite, I think the update is coming out tonight as of recording this podcast. Yeah. So it should be live May 15th. And so they said burst onto the battlefield was what they like, the quote from their Twitter.
Okay.
So we're getting a new burst rifle. It looks like a FAMAS or a FAMAS.
Yeah. Okay.
However you say it. So probably a 3-round burst, high-powered rifle. It's going to come in legendary or epic rarity. So sort of like the Scar. It only comes in those two. And then there's also like there's been gradual changes to post season 4 go live. Dusty Divot is where Dusty Depot used to be,
right?
And so there's only half of like Dusty Depot, and then there's this huge crater. So there was like this like fenced off. It looks very military-esque, like fenced off area down there. And there's been like gradual changes here and there to the lab that they have down in there. So you used to be able to just like it used to just all be open up top, and you could just drop right down in. Now there's sections of it that have roofs, and so you can't just drop in at any part of the lab. So that's like we'll probably see some more changes to that when the update goes live as well. So sort of like, you know, the meteor was there like during season 3, and then towards the end, like we saw some like they were actually hitting the ground and destroying things.
Right.
It seems like they've got something going on with this lab in Dusty Divot, and then there's this this hatch that somebody found in Wailing Woods that you can't get in. So like they're doing some things like building to something for the season 4, but I think the most exciting part of this is the new weapon.
Yeah.
It seems like every time they add a weapon, the heavy shotgun I think was a great addition to the game. And now this like another burst rifle that's not that puny, like weird, like burst machine gun. So should be cool.
Cool. All right. Excellent. Fortnite continues to innovate and do weird things that people just love, man. It's all over the place.
People are real salty about this game, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, IGN's been posting a lot of Fortnite stuff, like, to be fair. But it's
eat it up.
Huge. It's still the biggest game in the world. So obviously, like,
struck gold.
Why wouldn't they? You know, and people are just like, oh, IGN's become the Fortnite fan page.
It's and like if people are reading it and wanting information on it, why would you not give it to them?
Exactly. Like obviously, people are playing this game. You know,
lots of people.
And as I recall, IGN was posting mostly Overwatch when Overwatch was huge. It's just. They got to go where the money is.
Yeah, you go where the audience wants you to go.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, there you go. There we go. That's the news this week. It's going to bring us to our final segment for the week, Game Scoops. 20 questions.
Scoop!
So on the year, we are 10-4 * Evan. That's our official record. 10. Thank you for adding the slash. So yeah, we are 10-4 * because we got help 1 week live on YouTube comments, And the /Evan is because one time he was just trying to beat us, and so we have to put Evan's name there for one of the losses. So this week, Dave has chosen the game, and Josh and I are going to try to guess that game, as is the goal of 20 questions.
Correct.
Dave.
Josh, you want to start us off?
David Mann.
Yes. I'm warning you. Never tell me the odds. Just
I'm not
sure.
I'm not going to tell you the odds. I know what the odds are of us winning this, but I'm not going to tell you what they are.
14,605 to win.
Ah, Chad.
Tell me.
All right, Dave. This game that you're thinking of. Can you?
I feel like you're making this up as you go.
I really definitely am every week. Okay, Dave. Can you customize your clothing? Let me clarify what I mean. Not can you equip different types of clothes, but once you are wearing clothing, can you customize that clothing, like changing the color of your clothing or armor, etc.?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
Why don't you ask just one more while Chad is coming back into the call?
Second week in a row. What is happening? What was the first question? Can you what?
Chad rage quit 20 questions.
He asked if you could customize your clothing, and then he said, now let me tell you what I mean. He said, not do you wear different clothing throughout the game, but after you wear a certain clothing, can you then customize said clothing? And I said,
okay.
No.
Like change its color or appearance or whatnot.
Okay. Ooh, that's a doozy. I'm glad I wasn't here for it. Did this game, Dave, come out after January 1st, 2010?
No.
All right. We got a classic on our hands, Chad. That's what that means.
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave.
Came out less than 10 years ago, possibly. Classic.
Dave. Okay, so it didn't come out after 2010. Dave, did this game come out on the Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2 era? No, sorry. Nintendo 64 and PlayStation were same era, weren't they? Or was it
PS2, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm pretty sure the N64 and PlayStation were.
Yeah, I think they were contemporary.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah. So did this game come out on the Nintendo 64, PlayStation era during that era of consoles?
No, it did not.
Okay. Did this game come out before January 1st, 1990?
Yes.
Why the pause?
I know.
Did you have to do the math?
No.
Unless it originally came out and your game you chose is another iteration of the said game.
No, I'm gonna give you.
You have to add another asterisk. Great.
No, I'm just gonna let you. I'm just gonna say what I said to that question and give you another question.
Okay.
There's not a clear answer, or should I say
what?
I don't know for sure what the answer is.
To if it came out before 1990.
Yes.
Unsure, but yes, maybe.
All right.
Well, that just puts a kink in.
Yeah.
Let me answer it this way. I feel like I have to say yes, but I don't think I played this game until after 1990. I'm positive I did not.
Okay. But the internet can not tell you.
Hold on.
When it came out?
Well,
is what I'm wondering.
That
no one can say.
It's hard.
No one can.
It's unknowable.
Unknowable.
It's not unknowable. Okay, it's not. It's just. It's not super easy to know.
Oh, I am liking our chances of guessing this game.
I think our chances just went down.
Not super easy to know when this game actually started to exist. We're gonna get it. 2 more questions. 2 more questions. My prediction. So, are we counting that one, or we just?
Are we? I said you didn't have to count it.
Okay.
Oh, so we're just not gonna get an answer to that question?
No, that is the answer.
Okay,
not easy to know.
So, you're still in what? Question 3, I believe.
Yeah. So this is still 4. All right. Do you play as a human?
Yes.
Oh, that was easy. Okay. Good.
All right. Dave, is this on the NES? This game, was it released on the NES?
No.
Okay. Is this a platformer?
Yes.
Platformer. Play as a human. Chad, would you consider, 1990 though?
Or earlier? No one can say.
I need to specify.
But still, what's happening?
I need to specify. I need to specify that the genre is not platformer.
Okay, fair enough.
It's not listed, but there is platforming. Yes,
that's fair. No, but Chad, it would have still been probably relevant at least if he played it maybe around 1990 or a little thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, the NES was really like, other than the Atari, which came out years before. The NES was the only real in-home relevant new console at the time. And the NES at that point was like 4 years old. I
have a clarification.
Okay.
This particular game was released not before January 1st, 1990.
Okay.
So after.
Not before January 1st.
Because that's what you asked.
Okay.
So, okay.
So, but not on the NES, Chad, and so if we're talking about after 1990, also probably not an Atari,
right? So SNES,
and also Genesis. Probably not on PC that early in the 90s,
right?
So probably, Genesis or Super NES.
Mm-hmm.
Human, there's platforming. What would you call Aladdin?
Well, I'd call that platforming. I don't know what other genre that would fall into. Probably.
So same with that, like that weird Sega Mickey Mouse game. That's probably a platformer too. You remember that one?
Yeah, vaguely.
I'm just trying to think of like
games that aren't platformers with platforming.
And you play as a human, so that doesn't count anyway. I'm trying to think of games that like have other elements but also platforming in them. Looney Tunes. You don't play humans. Dang it.
Yeah. Well, we could go series, we could go franchise or licensed.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Dave, is this
bookends? We could ask the bookend question.
Ooh, that's a good one too. We'll save that one. Dave, is this game based on a licensed property?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Was that 7?
That was 7.
Sorry. I confused myself with all of the backtracking.
Yeah. I have some things scratched out, written.
Weren't there some Terminator games?
Yeah. I remember Terminator games. I remember Die Hard games.
Oh, Die Hard.
Dave, do you shoot guns in this game?
No.
Oh, well, there we go. Batman?
Mm-hmm.
There's some platforming in that. You don't you don't shoot a gun in that game.
No. Grappling hook, but that's it.
There's a licensed property. Dave, is this game based on a superhero?
No.
Okay.
Boo.
All right. So human platforming licensed. Okay. So is this license based on a movie property?
Yes. That's 10.
All right. Based on a movie property. Are we thinking, Chad, probably somewhere close to like early 90s?
My guess would be that, just because of how unsure the 90 question was.
When did the SNES come out?
91.
Okay. Because the Super Nintendo was, or the 64 was like 90, what, 5, 6?
95 or 6, I think, yeah.
Okay. So we're probably on the Super NES then.
Most likely. Movie property. So probably not a great
movie property.
I mean, I feel like I need to help you. I mean, I know I'm the one that knows the answer, but I feel like you're missing something that I would definitely have remembered if I was the guesser. Something you've already established.
You're human. It's licensed. It has platforming. You don't shoot guns. You're not a superhero. You can't customize your clothing.
Dave played this game.
When did it come out?
After 1990.
After 1990. Oh, wait. Chad, let's think about movies that came out in the early 90s.
Okay.
So, not Batman. So, it's not any of the Batman films that came out like in the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm going to say probably
Jurassic
not.
Park?
Okay. So I was going to say we have Jurassic Park. We've got Ghostbusters. We've got I just want to remind you of all of the hubbub or hubbaloo or whatever about the date.
That you were so confused, and it was almost unknowable if it came out before 1990 or not. And then we come to find out it did indeed come out after 1990.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep you guys from, I mean, just to be transparent, I guess. I don't want to help you too much. I'm just trying to keep you from going to the wrong platform.
So it's not NES, because you asked that. So it's the way he's talking, it's probably not SNES. So maybe it's a Genesis game or indeed a PC game, possibly.
I guess that's possible.
But when did you say the SNES came out?
91.
What about Chad? What about like
So if it came out in 1990, it wouldn't be SNES. I think that's what he's trying to say. It's not an SNES game. And you're human.
What about like when did stuff like but NBA Jam was on Super NES. I was gonna say like what about like NBA Jam or something like that?
Based off a movie.
Oh shoot. Yeah, it is based off a movie.
You guys know this already.
Tomb Raider is later.
Yeah, the movies were after the game. Dave, did this game come out on a Sega platform?
Yes.
Hey, all right. I don't know why I said that. I'm not super familiar with Sega, so
neither am I. My parents loved me
a ton.
I both.
Oh man. Okay. Were there any Star Wars video games on Sega right around then?
What about okay, is the movie that this game is based off of, is this an animated movie?
Are you asking me or Josh?
I'm asking you, Dave.
No, it is not.
Okay. So yes, I mean I don't know Star Wars games on Sega. I know a lot of things that came out on Nintendo also came to Sega. There were a lot of the same things. None of the Nintendo specific games would be on Sega, obviously.
Right.
But because it's based off a movie, most likely this game came to other platforms as well. But if it originally came to the Sega, or it's the one that he's thinking of,
where did Super Star Wars originate?
Man, I remember it on the SNES.
I feel like that's got to be where it came out.
But there are also guns in that game.
That's true. That's true. Dang it!
Also, the name
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Super
Dave.
Yeah.
So you don't shoot guns in this game. Do you kill enemies in this game?
Yeah.
Okay. Chad, what about Karate Kid?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I remember.
I played Karate Kid games on the NES, so I don't know if they were on Sega or not. Stop laughing at us, Dave.
Yeah, just because you know.
I'm just saying. It's just a funny process of questioning.
I feel like we're sticking pretty close to our normal.
Oh no! I mean, you went from do you kill things to is this Karate Kid? I mean, I'm sorry.
Hey, you kill flies in that game.
I mean, you could argue that the guys you're knocking into the swinging hammer thing are dying. That seems like a lethal thing. Or the guys you're knocking down into pits during the hurricane.
Oh, I guess I never played that game. I just assumed Karate Kid would be killing people.
You got to kill flies at least.
If he's cutthroat enough to pull an illegal move during a tournament, you know.
Okay.
That spawned an entirely another series.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You mentioned Jurassic Park, Chad.
Good movie. Good game. I like the game. I'm just saying.
Dave, the movie that this game is based on, is this movie part of a series?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember how many questions that was.
That's 14.
Oh no.
Yeah. And we chewed up a few there. Okay, so the movie's part of a series. Are there dinosaurs in this game, Dave?
No. Sorry. I was thinking about something. Yeah, don't read into that one. That was a weird response.
No dinosaurs. Okay. No dinosaurs.
So,
I was thinking about the movie, and then I had to make a second guess and think, well, video games are crazy. But then I'm like, no, there's no dinosaurs in this game.
So there wasn't any in the movie. Could there be some of the game? I got you.
You know, sometimes they put weird stuff in video games.
Yeah. Sometimes. Okay, so no dinosaurs. You play as a human. It's a series of movies. No guns that you're shooting. There's platforming, which would make sense at that time. Not on an NES. Well, we know it's on a Sega platform. All right, so licensed movies, that there's numerous of them in the early 90s, which means there were movies from the 80s in this series, possibly, unless it's the first in a bookend of movies.
Right. Oh, man.
And if that's the case, then there's movies afterwards in the 90s.
And there's definitely
what side of the bookend
in this game. There's platforming in this game. You don't shoot a gun, but you do kill enemies.
Mm-hmm. It's not animated. It's
based on a movie.
Action.
All right, so that means it's probably melee weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got.
I can't.
Oh, like Conan? Was there a Conan movie back in the 80s?
Dave, is this movie like, okay, here we go. I need this question for my, I guess, because like in 1990, I was 10. So my availabilities, and you guys are both younger than that, seeing as I'm the old one. We, you know, like the diehards of that time, I wouldn't have been watching that, right? Because I'm 10. So this movie, Dave, is the movie that the game is based off of. Are these kid-friendly movies?
I mean, it's hard to answer yes or no to that. It's hard to answer yes or no.
Okay, is the movies that this game is based off?
They weren't made for kids.
Okay, can I phrase it this way?
Okay,
maybe this will help answer. Is it a PG-13 or lesser rating movie?
Yes.
So it's probably PG-13. But if it's not made for kids, if it's more of a adult theme, you know what I'm saying, Josh? Like my thinking is like
PG-13 in the 80s was like
a lot further than it is these days. Right.
Yeah. All right. So Beetlejuice, that was only one movie, wasn't it? There's only
one of those. Yeah, there's only one of
there
those.
was more than one.
They teased a second Beetlejuice. Did you see that?
Yeah, they have. Yeah. Yep.
There was only there was 3 Ghostbuster movies.
3. And those aren't guns.
Well, 4
definitely.
Guns. Well, yeah,
true. They don't shoot guns. Those are not guns.
And those were definitely 80s.
Yeah, totally. And there were definitely games of that on Sega, like good ones on Sega, if I recall. That's Dave, yep.
Is there a character named Venkman in any of the series of movies that this game is based on?
To pick such a...
Yeah, I would have said Ghosts, but okay.
No, there's not.
Oh, no character named Venkman.
I probably should have just said Ghosts.
I mean, it's Weimer, the same place.
Applied to.
So not a Ghostbuster game.
Man.
Not a Jurassic Park game. I'm out of 90s movies.
Oh man.
Die Hard, because you shoot guns. Can't be Terminator. You guns.
You guys were on the right track when you were trying to think of movies that you would have enjoyed as kids.
But these are more not made for kids.
A series of movies. Yeah, they weren't necessarily made for kids, but you know.
The Indiana Jones movies came out during the 90s, right, Chad?
Yeah.
Those were 80s.
Yeah. He didn't shoot guns.
But those would have been like later though. That probably wouldn't have had a video game like in 1990 or 91.
I don't know. I guess I don't know.
Were those late 80s?
I can't remember. Time.
I felt like they came out.
Flat circle.
I can't remember time.
Oh man.
Yeah, quote me. That's the title of this.
Chad, I'm sitting here looking at a Judge Dredd comic right now. What about Judge Dredd?
Totally shot guns in that game.
Oh, dang it. Yeah. That's true. Dang it.
Oh, man. What games did I like? Or what movies did I like? It's 90s that... I mean, we could go
Highlander?
I mean, that seems a stretch.
That is a stretch. I'm just trying to think of like movies that were made during that era. Or what was Bruce Lee doing back in the day?
Was he?
I don't think he was in any series. He just made a lot of movies.
Yeah. Gosh, Dave.
Lethal Weapon? That's probably guns. That's probably guns.
Definitely guns. Definitely lots of guns.
Actually, you know what? It's hard to think of a popular movie back then that wouldn't have been like violent with guns.
This is a long time ago, Dave. I don't know if you realize that. It's almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're asking questions about the movies, but I guess that's what we need to do. Is Steven Spielberg attached to this movie at all? That this game is based off of?
Yes.
Okay. Steven Spielberg. So,
but it's not Jurassic Park.
Nope.
And it's a series. So I guess it could be Indiana Jones.
That's what Indiana Jones. Did Spielberg? Yeah, Spielberg wasn't he? No.
I think so. I thought so.
Yeah. E.T. No, because there's not a series. It's one movie.
Yeah.
Try.
I mean, there's Flight of the Navigator, but that's a one-off. There's
that's such a good movie.
That's a great movie. There's
has to be.
How many questions do we have left?
This will be 19. So we need to narrow it down. If it is Indiana Jones, okay, we need to narrow it down to that, and then we got to. I mean, they've made more than one game, so like, what's the subtitle? Which, now we're almost out. Like, it might be hard to narrow it down.
All right, so we just need to bank hard on the fact that it's Indiana Jones.
Okay.
And let's structure a question that will help us get a twofer. As Dave is so fond of.
Yeah.
So what if we ask if this game is based on the first Indiana Jones movie?
Okay, there's another question. There's another question you could ask.
I say if it's
and you've referenced it, Chad, many times.
Bookend, right? We could say does this game, is it a bookend to the series? So that would give us and if it's a yes,
you don't know how many movies are in this series,
right? But my thing was, if we ask if it's based on the first Indiana Jones movie, that not only tells us that it is based on an Indiana Jones movie, it tells us which one.
That's if
it's based on Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's not based on the first Indiana Jones movie, you don't know if it's Indiana Jones or if it's
just not the first one.
Oh, dang it, you're right. Oh no. All right, so what do we want to ask, Chad? Do we want to ask Indiana Jones, or do we want to ask if it's the first or last?
You could ask both those questions. That would still, if you asked, I'm just brainstorming.
Okay,
you guys.
I got it.
If you asked if this game's based on one of the bookend movies of Indiana Jones, and
that's what I was just going to ask,
and I say no, that either means it could be based off of Temple of Doom or it's not based off Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask. But that's still banking hard on Indiana Jones. How many
questions do you have?
Well, this will be 19. So we got...
wow. Oh, wow. I wasn't keeping track. I don't even know if I would do it.
All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Is this game based on the first or last Indiana Jones movie?
Yes.
So it has to be the first, right?
Probably the first.
So did the game have the same subtitle as the movie?
So you guys have no... Okay, this is one of the unique situations where you can still get it because you both have a guess.
Right.
So think about it.
So Josh, do you think it has the subtitle?
I feel like it would. I'm out of my depth here though. I can't say for sure.
It would. I would assume.
But I feel like it would have the same subtitle. This is before they started doing separate stories in games.
It would just be called the title of the movie. It would just be the
movie. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Dave, is this game Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark?
No.
Okay, so it doesn't have the subtitle. So is it just Indiana Jones?
It's all up to you, Chad.
Or are we wrong in assuming that it's the first and it's actually the last?
Could be the last.
In 1990.
Did
the last movie before Crystal Skull come out in 1990?
It seems early.
It does, but is it? Star Wars. We think Star Wars as in our childhood. The Return of the Jedi came out, and how old were we when that came out? But we wouldn't think of that as like that old.
Yeah, but like in what's it called? Indiana Jones and the Search for the Holy Grail, or what is that movie called?
What? You guys aren't Indiana Jones?
Our brain, okay, when you get to your brains don't work exactly right. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom.
Okay, see, Harrison Ford is my favorite actor, so I guess maybe I'm a little bit...
No, it's just we're on the spot, Dave. Yeah. Lay off, okay?
Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and what's the third one?
Oh my God!
Search for the Holy Grail, right? No, Indiana Jones. I don't know. I can't remember. My brain is not working.
Oh no!
I could give you the entire plot of the movie. Anyway, what I was gonna say was,
it could be that.
As far as the third movie goes, I feel like I just have to say.
It's driving him nuts
because of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, this title is no longer accurate.
Okay.
Chad, it's The Last Crusade.
Okay.
Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. That's what it's called. But in that movie, what's the James Bond actor? I can't remember anything these days.
His father.
His father.
Yeah.
He's Sean Connery. Sean Connery is he's pretty old. In this movie.
Sean Connery's always been old to us.
So But like, I feel like he's older than he would have been in like early 90s.
How much older was he in The Rock?
That was the early night. That was mid 90s. That was like 96.
Oh, that's true.
Dave, is this Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? I just did it. I just ripped the Band-Aid off.
The game?
The game.
This game is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Hey!
The release dates listed on Wikipedia are 1989, 1990, 1991, and 1992.
Well, I guess it depends on which one you picked.
No, it's the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I didn't realize this until after I picked the game and we started. But there are 2 other games just on Nintendo that have the exact same name and they don't differentiate it with any subtitle or anything. It's like it was such a weird release. And there's another game that was released before this one, and they left it the same name. They're different games. There's an Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, like a graphic. There's an Indiana Jones Last Crusade action game, which is this one. There's an Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, some type of other game that was on. Anyways, this particular game only came out. So I don't know some of these other ones: Amiga, Amstrad, CPC,
so
Atari,
it didn't come
ST,
out at the same time.
C64, MS-DOS, Game Boy, Game Gear, MSX, Genesis, the Master System, and then ZX Spectrum. The genre is an action adventure. It doesn't say platform, but you do platform. The only weapon you have is a whip.
Interesting.
And it follows all of his. It's a little bit not. I mean, it's true to the movie as far as the levels, but in the movie, The Last Crusade, you start off in the past as young Indiana Jones, and he's with like a team of scouts, and they go into these canyons, and he finds the Cross of Coronado, and this older guy and a bunch of thieves, they're digging it up, and he goes on this big chase through this train. He falls. It's a circus train. He falls into a pit of snakes. That's where his fear of snakes come from. At the end of this big trip, the guy actually comes. He runs home to his dad, and he's got the cross. And this guy follows him back and basically talks to him and has to give the cross to him. He doesn't understand why. And the guy, because he like thinks he has a lot of spunk or whatever, he takes his hat off and he puts it on his head. That's where Indiana Jones gets his hat, his fedora. And then it jumps into the future, and he's getting punched on a ship. Anyways, that starts The Last Crusade. And it goes all the way. But the first 2 levels in the game are in the canyon and on the train as full-grown Indiana Jones, which is not accurate to the movie. But the stages are. And this is the movie where he meets the German girl, and they go to Italy, and they have to break through the floor of this bookcase, and they go into the catacombs. And they're looking for the Holy Grail. So the search for the Holy Grail in your mind, that is right.
Yeah.
This is the one where you chose wisely, the cup of Christ, and he does all the leap of faith and all that stuff. Raiders of the Lost Ark is the first one where he does shoot a gun in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is why I was worried you guys would get worried about that. And then Temple of Doom is
Kalima.
Yeah, but dude, I love these, and I thought for sure. At first, I thought Josh was going to go down Super Nintendo. And when I went through all that I don't even know if it's after 1990, and then Super Nintendo came out in 91, I thought for sure you guys would realize, oh, it's not going to be Super Nintendo.
Right. Dang.
But then the other thing was Star Wars. Like, Indiana Jones was after Star Wars.
Right.
The last Star Wars was
86, right?
Something like that.
I thought it was 87.
Oh, man.
Indiana Jones was... They made those movies fast. Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, 1989. And, of course, it's a George Lucas creation, but Steven Spielberg directed them.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Lucas...
oh, dude, Return of the Jedi was
83.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you're thinking of the 70s.
I was thinking 77.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, we got it.
Man.
We took every inch.
Evan will love this week's episode.
Oh, my gosh.
20 questions. He will not yell at his iPad, or what he's listening in on at all.
I'm probably going to be in trouble because I call my girlfriend after every one of these, and this one's a late one.
Yeah, we went a little longer.
I already
this
got
week.
the text that said, "You're still not done."
Yeah.
And, yeah.
We weren't. So
and you tell her, that's right, woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we did it. One way or another, we did it. Thank you for listening. Just a quick reminder, our E3 prediction show.
E3. I'm just going to do this until 11.
It's the most magical time of the year when we get to hear that many times.
It will be coming up very soon. Here in the next couple of weeks, we will be recording that episode. So please look forward to that. And gentlemen, get your predictions ready. Evan still will be listening and ready to judge us on the truth. For last year, we did.
He loves to do that. He loves to judge people.
Last year, we did a PSN credit for the winner between the three of us.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember how much it was for.
That's right, because me and Chad were always like, yeah, if one of us wins, we both win.
Right. Yeah, that's true, because we game share. So please look forward to that coming up real soon. We're going to end the podcast here quickly. When
we don't know yet, right?
We don't know. We have not decided, but E3 is on June 11th. So that is 4 weeks from this recording. So it'll be before then. But we'll do it.
Do we want to really wait until the week before? So in case so there's no, how a lot of times stuff pops up last minute.
Like someone would say Rage 2 is going to be announced, and that'll already happen before E3.
Right. I mean, honestly, I was thinking about what I wanted my predictions to be, and one of mine was going to possibly be getting a release window for Anthem. Because it seems like it's about time for them to do that, but we've already got that. Stuff does
a release window.
More and more stuff does come out right before E3.
E3.
Sorry, that was my
fault. Let's plan a June 4th then prediction show.
All right,
and we'll go from there. So 3 more weeks from this week. Just because say the word 3, prediction. You cannot do it for that.
You heard it here, folks.
PAX East predictions, folks, coming your way.
What are you talking about? All right, we're done for the week. Thanks for listening, guys. We're going to leave now. Right? We're going to end it. We're going to just stop
PAX
because
East.
We'll just keep going. All done.
Right?
Bye.
That's what it is, right?
Say the pizza. Say the pizza thing. Say the pizza thing.
What? Am I wrong? Tell me, because it's going to affect my predictions if I don't know what show this is for.
Pizza.
What is it for, Chad? Just tell me real quick. Chad.